I made a little plan. I'll split this video in 3 parts. So the first one is why. Why would anyone ever would decide in doing this, in training for sub 3 hours? How am I approaching this? For regular people like me or you, it's quite impossible without a specific training to hit this goal. And then I'll talk about hurdles or difficulties along the way and how am I dealing with them. Let's start with why. I started taking fitness seriously around 8 years ago. That's when I started going to the gym. That's when I realized that my cardio sucks. I need to start doing some endurance training. And then I got into running, and then I got into triathlon. And then I decided to do some marathons. And after that, I decided to do some Ironmans. And then I started doing ultra runs. Now I am ending up into training for this sub 3 hour marathon because, as you probably know, to run sub 3 hour marathon, you got to be running at 4:15 per kilometer pace. I consider myself as an average runner. I know I can train up for it and it's definitely doable. I just need to put in the work. I'm giving myself 12 months, 8 to 12 months. The first attempt is going to be at 8 months and hopefully I can do it and end of story. I'll be unlocking that achievement of running sub 3 hour marathon in my lifetime and who knows what's gonna happen next. But afterwards I want to go back to ultra running and ultra training and hopefully this sub 3 hour marathon goal is gonna get my fitness up in the sky and I will become much, much faster, not just on asphalt, but also on the trails. I look at it as a stepping stone because I have a huge picture behind it. This is just one point. I'm giving this 1 year just to train for speed and then hopefully I'll be faster in trails. That's why I'm doing it. And of course, there are some other benefits like longevity, my VO2 max improvement. There's just no bad sides of training for sub 3 hour marathon, except probably being tired most of the time. How am I doing it? So first of all, I decided to finally find a proper running coach. And I found this coach. His name is Staza. He's trained over 700 people at this point, probably even more now, to run a sub 3 hour marathon. And he's training Olympians. He's training regular people like you and me. And that's why I put my trust into him. He's not cheap. I think I'm paying like $1,000, maybe $1,200 a year. There's this app, it's called Final Surge, and I see my workouts there. If I have any questions, I can message him anytime. And also we can set up a virtual call. These calls are basically unlimited. I can arrange it whenever I want to, and then jump on a call with him, discuss whatever, and that's it, and go from there. So far, I've been into training for 6 months now. I'm quite happy with it. I definitely see some improvements. So the first 3 months, we were just building the foundations for my running, which is just basically easy running. We started with 3 runs a week, then 4 runs a week, 3 runs and a long run. And then we started introducing some intervals. We did some hill work, so hill repeats. We started doing some drills, and now eventually we are starting in doing some tempo work. Currently, I am 10 weeks out of my first sub 3 hour marathon attempt, which I wasn't actually cleared for yet. But my coach said that 4 weeks out, we're gonna know exactly where I'm at and what kind of pace should I be attempting to run this marathon in. And the marathon is going to be Nusa. That's going to be at the end of May. And I've done that before. That's where I hit my PB last time. And for that one, I didn't train at all. I am excited for that. And also, I'm quite scared because the training right now is quite intense. So how am I doing with the training right now? Well, most important part of the training is not the training itself, it's the recovery, it's what you're doing in between. I know it sounds not sexy, it sounds quite boring. It's not really emphasized enough in fitness industry how important is recovery, but in recent years I am understanding it more and more, that sleep, that adequate nutrition and Really tracking down those calories, especially on the days when we work out really, really hard, that's where it really counts. Now, performance, to increase my performance, to improve my performance, and to try and do as best as I can during the hard workouts, I have to focus on the nutrition, the sports nutrition. Me and my coach discussed that I should be taking not less than 80 grams of carbs per hour, which, if I'm taking gels, that would be an equivalent of one regular gel every 20 minutes. That's just under the mark, but close-ish, close enough. Of course, the night before, that's an individual preference, but I definitely like to eat a bucket of rice, as I say, and less fibrous foods. So my tummy would be more solid rather than loosey-goosey in the morning, because I do my runs in the mornings. The other very important thing is the warm-up. I really like doing lunge matrix. Lunge matrix works like this. You lunge forward, you lunge diagonally, you lunge side, you lunge back, and then you lunge reversed, and then you just go all around. And you do 3 reps for each side, each leg, and you're good to go. I also started doing some jumping before that to warm up my calves. And also I find that if I do roughly 100 jumps before I leave the house, it's gonna force me to go to the toilet just once before the run. So I do the jumping, I do the lunges, and then I hit the toilet, I grab my stuff, and I'm out the door. Of course, the run session always starts with a 20-minute easy, and then we hit whatever the workout is. The main difficulties along the way so far is being sicknesses. Around Christmas season, I got sick. I got sick once, and then I got sick again, and some things are just lingering even now. And the hard workouts, they really tackle the immune system. So that's another reason why we have to keep up with our nutrition, feed us those calories that we burn during the exercise, and even on top of that, after the exercise, definitely taking the multivitamin. I started taking creatine as well. I feel like that's definitely improving. I gained some weight. I know that for marathon training, you shouldn't be gaining weight, but I feel like I was too light, too skinny. And yes, I am much heavier, but I feel like I have more power now. I was at 12% fat roughly. Now I'm probably 14, 13. I'm still super lean, but extra few kilos of weight is definitely helping me since I always been a lean guy. On my rest days, I am cycling. I am still active. Coach told me to stay off my feet during the rest days, but I still love to go for a walk here and there. Coming back to the sicknesses, I think I just got some viruses that been around. My family was visiting from Europe and my mom arrived and she was sick, so I probably got something from there. And then at the gym, people were sniffling as well. Yeah, probably I just got unfortunate, even though I was really good with my nutrition. But yeah, I had to take some sessions off. I probably taken off 5, 6, 7 sessions all up, and it's not ideal, but it's definitely a factor that affected the training. But I still believe that it's doable, considering my recent performances in training. The other thing is fear of injury. That is super common. Since I had overuse injuries before, every time my legs are hurting, my lower legs are hurting, especially around the heels, ankles, or shins, I definitely feel like this is the pain that if I run again soon, I'm gonna break. I will get a stress fracture or stress reaction, and that's gonna put me out. I did panic a few times and I messaged my coach. I'm like, dude, what the hell? What should I do? And he simply gave me the classic RICE, rest it, ice it, compress it, elevate it method, which sounds boring and simple, but it actually does work. After hard workouts, it's hard to sleep for me sometimes because the legs are inflamed. Then I would take some ibuprofen, some painkillers, some inflammation reducing medicine that would help me to sleep, which is good. Whatever help you can use for your recovery, just use it. We live in the technology age and we should use the technology for our benefit, right? I am certainly being a little cry baby boy in this regard. But now I'm starting to see the pattern. Whatever the aches I feel one day, and yeah, they're quite serious, and sometimes I'm even limping, I just rest it out, I eat properly, sometimes I go into the cold pool, and the next day I need to run, and I start running and it's still achy, but then 10 minutes, 20 minutes in, the pain is gone. So you gotta trust the process and just keep at it. Really relax during your easy runs. That's what I'm doing. I'm not even looking at my pace during my easy runs because what's the point? It's meant for recovery. It's meant for endurance. If I need to walk, I walk sometimes. It doesn't matter. Whatever matters is to perform during the interval sessions or during the tempo runs. These are the most important sessions. Easy runs are, that's what they called easy. So just take them easy. And it took me years and years to understand this, but now I finally get it, and it's been a game changer. Let's talk about good run versus bad run. It's very rare for me to have a good run. If you're training for something like this, you probably know if you're running 4 times a week, you just barely recover and you look forward to those deload weeks to really get you back up to recover properly. Because of that, you're tired and you're probably grumpy and you're probably achy, and sometimes nature gets in the way. There are some hot, very hot days here in Queensland where I live. Probably 90% of my runs are just meh, chipping it away, looking forward for the race day, I guess. And then sometimes I wake up and I really don't want to run, and I imagine that I will be complete trash. But then on those days, somehow miraculously, I am performing well. And then on the other days, when I feel like okay, yeah, I'm pumped, I'm gonna do my best work now, I just can't run. Lungs are heaving, my heart is bumping, and I'm just bad. So don't be discouraged about anything that happens during your training. It's called training. You are training, you're making mistakes. Hopefully, you're learning from them. I know I'm learning from my mistakes. Realize that it's just another run. What matters is that you do the run. What matters is that you put in the work. That's why it's gonna work, because you put in the work. As long as you believe, even if you're doubting sometimes in yourself, in your ability, as long as you trust the process and follow it and follow through, believing in your coach and believing in yourself, eventually you will get it. And I know that I'm 10 weeks out right now, and it's unlikely, and my coach already told me that probably I'll have to aim for 310. I still have a huge, huge hope that if I put myself out there and I go full on, I'll be able to run sub 3 hour marathon, and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be definitely the hardest thing I've done. It's gonna be super rewarding, and I'm looking forward to it. And I wish that you are going to take up a challenge like that, whether it's marathon training, whether it's ultra training, whatever you want to do. Don't hesitate, get to work, get it done. It's gonna be fun.